God's not good. If he was good, he would have met me here when I begged him for 40 years.
Oh, look, it's another atheist crying and throwing a tantrum because God didn't give them exactly what they wanted. What a surprise.
So interesting that we'll be able to see God when we die, but not before. Isn't it interesting that whatever punishment is coming for us, we can't know about it until we die? Isn't it interesting that any reward that's going to come for Christians always comes later when you die? Isn't it interesting that everything about Christianity is about later when you die? Isn't it interesting that the threats Christians constantly give me are things that are going to happen when I die? When you die, you'll see. Later, you'll see. You are threatening punishment that is not going to come. There's not evidence for any of these claims. And I bet if you think really hard about it, you'll remember that the reason you believe this is because someone told you to. You didn't come to this conclusion on your own. Someone else threatened you with punishment when you die. And hey, fear's a very effective tool. I get it. God's not good. If he was good, he would have met me here when I begged him for 40 years. But he didn't. And I don't need forgiveness. If anybody needs forgiveness, it's God. And I absolutely do not forgive him.
Now, isn't it interesting how you spent 60 seconds of everyone's life accusing Christianity of being all about later, as if eternity is somehow a cheap cop-out? But here's the kicker. If eternal consequences didn't exist, you'd accuse Christianity of not taking morality seriously enough. So which one do you want? Do you want immediate payoff, or do you want ultimate justice? You can't have it both ways. And since when is delayed consequences a reason to reject the truth? Gravity doesn't punish you the second that you step off the ledge. It waits until you smack right into the bottom. Consequences can be delayed and still be very real. Saying you'll see when you die isn't a threat, it's a warning, and ignoring it doesn't make it go away, it just makes it inevitable. Then there's the claim that there's no evidence for any of these things anyway. Okay, so let's talk evidence. Now, no one's asking you to believe in leprechauns or cosmic unicorns. We're talking about a historical man named Jesus Christ, who was publicly executed under Pontius Pilate, buried, and according to hostile and friendly sources alike, his tomb was empty days later. That's not a legend, not metaphor. It is documented testimony from multiple early persecuted eyewitnesses. And you say we believe because someone told us to. Yeah, like that's a solid argument. You know why you believe in atoms? Because someone told you about them. Have you ever personally observed one? Yeah, probably not. But you trust the evidence handed down by people that are more qualified than you in that field. That's not brainwashing, that's basic epistemology. The real question is, are the sources reliable? And in the case of Christianity, they absolutely are. And it is withstood the test of time and time again. Now let's get to the heart of the matter. God didn't meet me and I begged him for 40 years. Now, okay, I hear the pain in that, but pain doesn't prove absence. Any parent who's watched their child suffer knows sometimes silence is not abandonment. Sometimes it's protection or even preparation, or maybe, just maybe, it was a test of sincerity, not a vending machine on demand. And then the most chilling line, if anyone needs forgiveness, it's God. Now, you flip the courtroom upside down on this one. The creator of the cosmos owes you an apology? For what? Refusing to violate your free will? For not rearranging the universe to suit your personal timeline? The same God who offers forgiveness for your sins, you now put on trial for not jumping when you called? Who do you think you are? If you won't forgive the God who gave you breath, it's not because he failed to show up. It's because you chose to ignore it when he did. Through the cross, through conscience, through creation, and through countless people who tried to reach you before your ridiculous rant. He showed up, you just didn't like the way that he did it. Well, too bad. And maybe that's the whole problem. You're not rejecting a lack of evidence, you're rejecting authority. You don't want a God that you can't control. But if God has to bow to your demands to be worthy of belief, then you don't want God. You want a genie, and Christianity doesn't offer that. Sorry, it offers truth, and sometimes the truth hurts before it heals. So before you waste the internet's time with another 60-second rant about God, maybe, just maybe, take a little bit of self-analysis, look at yourself in the mirror, and really ask yourself, is God the problem, or am I?